Jennifer Aniston calls Rachel Green's role in Friends a curse. This character haunts the actress for years, and she tries to prove that she is not like her heroine in any way. But is she? Green and Aniston have more in common than it seems. Who do they love? Who are their friends? And how do they live? Most important, will Jennifer have the same happy ending as Rachel? The answer is in this video. Join us and get notified. Our videos will shed light on the most impressive celebrity love stories. We continue to compare actresses with their most famous characters to understand what Hollywood divas themselves see in these heroines and how such roles can affect their real life. Before the role of Rachel Green, the spoiled daughter of a doctor from New York, no one really knew about Jennifer Aniston. However, it was the character that became America's sweetheart. The girls wanted to be like the fashionista Rachel. They even named the haircut that the heroine had in the first seasons the same way. But how similar are both girls? Aniston went through 2 high-profile divorces and never became a mother, but Rachel found the man of her dreams, Ross, and gave birth to their daughter. It may well be that Rachel Green is the woman that Jennifer wanted to become but failed, or she stands closer to a completely different lifestyle. Friends started in 1994 and ran for 10 years, and by the last season, Jennifer Aniston was making $1 million per episode. 52 million people watched the last episode. It was the beloved family show of the 90s generation. And in 2020, after years of teasing the public, Jennifer posted this photo on Instagram. The new season of the show is coming. HBO Max releases special episodes for the show's 25th anniversary. The channel has already begun filming, but everyone denies that this will be the sequel of the series. Is it a PR move? Then why did Jen, who was so tired of being compared to Rachel, agree to play in the sequel? Perhaps for an actress, this is more than a character.
I could not get Rachel Green off of my back for the life of me.
The very first episode of the series shows us a group of friends: Phoebe, Ross, Joey, Monica, and Chandler. They are drinking coffee in their favorite cafe. And then Monica's former classmate Rachel rushes in a wedding dress. She doesn't want to get married, doesn't want to be supported by her parents, but she doesn't know what she wants: to find her place in the heroine's arc. However, Aniston herself clearly knew what she wanted from an early age. She pursued an acting career only and didn't even consider doing something else. Her father is also an actor, and he helped a bit with the castings. In the 80s, she played a couple of small roles, and in 1993, she got a first big role in the film Leprechaun. Then she came to audition for the role of Rachel, and everyone was amazed. This is a character in the flesh. Sure, the two had nothing in common: a girl from a dysfunctional family who dreams of a movie career, and a rich daughter of a dentist from the suburbs of New York who is only interested in fashion. During filming, however, Jen seems to have become more and more like her character. Both are friends with the same people: Courtney Cox, aka Monica, Lisa Kudrow as Phoebe, Matt LeBlanc, aka Joey, Matthew Perry as Chandler, and David Schwimmer, Rachel's love interest, Ross. The group is together to this day.
Yeah, how
happens
you all?
couple,
Yes.
once every 2 years, but the girls all the time.
Together, they went through divorces, the birth of children, and celebrated new roles. Although, unfortunately, only Aniston became the most commercially successful in acting. Her fortune is estimated as $200 million, and she has starred in 30 films. It is not surprising, as both Jennifer herself and her heroine had equally strong ambitions. It takes courage to run away from your own wedding and completely cut ties with the family that provided everything. Rachel Green had it. The empty life of a rich wife wasn't appealing to the girl in any way, and she didn't want to repeat the fate of her mother, who was clearly unhappy in her marriage to Mr. Green. In the first episodes, she moved in with her childhood friend, Monica, got a job as a waitress at their favorite cafe, and pretentiously cut her father's credit cards. The future is waiting. Rachel always wanted more out of her life, and she didn't want to be just a waitress either. Her love for fashion made her take a risk and quit her job at the cafe to get a position at Bloomingdale's, the most famous department store in New York, and then aim even higher, the Ralph Lauren fashion house. Jennifer, on the other hand, starred in a dozen comedies but had a dream to become a real dramatic actress, especially after the acting teacher bluntly told her that her strong point is to be funny and she must stick to it. This infuriated Jen.
I am not funny, I am a serious actor.
Though both of our heroines are similar in their quest for success, their love lives are very different. The essential man in Rachel Green's life is Ross Geller, a brother of her friend Monica, a shy paleontologist, a true romantic, and a natural dad. Rachel is the girl of his dreams, and he tries to win her love, loses, and then returns her throughout the show. Rachel knows that he always puts her first, adores and needs her. Ross's strange and obsessive and sometimes terribly controlling behavior only proved it. The couple had a daughter out of wedlock, although the two did get married in Vegas in one of the episodes. They got drunk on the plane and then went to the church at the casino, where a pastor in an Elvis suit married them. Not romantic, but so fun. Rachel was weighed down by Ross's attention, and their conflict centered on her desire to live freely and pursue a career. However, every time she realized, without him, no successes are complete. Their happy ending was during the last episode, where Rachel didn't fly to Paris to work, but chose love, chose Ross. Jennifer's story was the opposite. Her true love turned into betrayal. Aniston began dating the most handsome man in Hollywood, Brad Pitt, in 1998. Then he just broke up with Gwyneth Paltrow, who was successful from a wealthy elite family, and Pitt was ashamed to be an ordinary Joe from nowhere. Later, he said in an interview that he had found the same ordinary girl for himself. Not a flattering comment. Pitt clearly didn't idolize Jen, as Ross did with Rachel. In 2000, the couple got married and problems started. Aniston didn't want to have children, but Brad insisted. The conflict began to escalate but ended unexpectedly cruelly. In 2005, on the set of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Pitt had an affair with Angelina Jolie. She recently adopted a boy from Cambodia and wanted more children. This allegedly became the reason for the divorce. But divorce was just the beginning. A couple of months after the divorce, Brad and Angelina began to appear together openly. And then they flew to Africa and adopted a baby girl. They were everywhere. The headlines screamed that this is the most beautiful couple of our time. Meanwhile, Jen was sitting at home in Malibu all alone, thinking about what she did wrong. The real reason for Pitt's betrayal resurfaced and shocked everyone. Jennifer gave an interview in 2004 where she stated that she was ready to be a mother. It's time. It's time. You know, I think you can work with a baby. I think you can work pregnant. I think you can do all of it. So I'm just truly looking forward to slowing down. So it was completely his fault. Aniston did everything to keep the relationship afloat. He switched from his ordinary girl to the rebel Jolie and broke Jen's heart. For 5 years she was alone, afraid to open up to a man again. In 2011, she starred in the film Wanderlust and began dating her set partner Justin Theroux. In 2015, they got married. The couple was madly in love, but friends saw that they were not a very good match. Justin was a typical New Yorker who loved clubs and galleries, and Jen lived by the ocean and preferred quiet evenings. Even a strong feeling couldn't keep such different people close. At first, Justin skipped his wife's 49th birthday, and later that year they decided to divorce. Now Aniston is officially single, although there are rumors of a new love affair. This is what Jen herself said about her happy ending. Why do we want a happy ending? How about just a happy existence? A happy process? We are all in process constantly. Is it true? We can explain such a dislike for her most famous character with envy. After all, Jennifer didn't find her own Ross who would adore her. She has no children, although she constantly invites friends with families and their kids play in her pool. She is so dedicated to furnishing her house in Bel Air, but she is alone there. However, Jen is not alone as long as she has friends. The entire crew will appear in new episodes of the show, while the actors intriguing us. Some say that it will be stories from the set a la documentary. Others hint that it is quite possible to be the real sequel. Aniston herself added Woods into the fire by saying, "I will not be Rachel, although I kind of am." Well, we are all sort of little fragments of them. What are your expectations for the new season of Friends? Are you more interested in the life of the 5 actors? Share in the comments.